Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DCUO SourceCast. I am, of course, Trex, and alongside me this week we have Vagrant Gaming.
What's up?
And, of course, welcome back to the show. I might as well just make her a basic stable member. She doesn't do anything on Friday night. She can do the show every Friday. That'll work. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Brittany.
I gotta go. I'm busy. Bye.
No, ma'am. You stay right there.
Hi.
Super Patron will be joining us in a bit. Apparently, he did not see that we changed times to make it 7 instead of 8. So he had to go do family things. So he'll be joining us in just a bit. But he's on the call. You just can't hear him. And last but not least, our very special guest we haven't had on the show for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your community manager, Mepps.
Hello, everyone.
Mepps, thank you so much for joining the show. I hope we don't bother you too much.
Oh, no, thanks for having me back. After last time, I wasn't sure you'd have me back, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course. So, as always, we have the follower goal. We're just trying to reach 10, and apparently my Twitch alerts is broken, apparently. So, yay to that. So, thank you to the new 2 followers, Touch of Death and Mega Puffed. Thank you guys so much for following. If you guys have never watched the show or listened before, we basically are a DCO podcast. The #1 DCO podcast. I can say that with vigor now. And I don't have to feel bad. My ego is set aside. So, we talk everything about DC Universe Online, and we also talk about anything about DC Comics if we need to fill time. So, hope you guys are sitting down and ready for a nice 2-hour-long show, because that's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Wait, 2 hours? Oh, I gotta go.
No, you stay as well.
Britt, let's get out of here.
Okay, see you. Nice show.
They're running off together.
Apparently.
Oh, God.
That's not cool.
Doesn't that always happen to Trex, though?
Every day.
6:05 p.m. the moment I regret this.
Noted.
It took 5 minutes?
All right, so as usual, we start the show with talking about how our week was. So, Vagrant, how was your week?
That was good. Excited that Game Update 47 dropped. I've been looking forward to that since it hit test. And as soon as can't remember who said, I think it was either Dirt or Radar X or someone said that no, it might have been Sport. He said that combat improvements were Game Update 47. I was like, that's gonna be my favorite update of all year. So as soon as it hit, I was super excited. And then, of course, doing seasonals. Did a last-minute survival mode run. Didn't get too far. Either way, week was pretty nice.
Yeah, is survival mode still active, or did we finally fix the switch?
It is off now.
Okay. All right.
It was supposed to turn off earlier this week, but the off switch did not work.
I blame Brittany.
Yep.
What?
We all know it was your fault because you still want to get as far as possible.
I didn't even run it. What are you talking about?
You never ran survival mode?
Well, not the week that it was still up. No.
Oh, okay, gotcha. With Game Update 47 changes?
Actually, I wanted to try it.
It would have been really rough. It would have been really rough with the CR differential.
That would have been fun.
Oh, I can't wait for the next one to be on test now. That sounds like so much fun. All right, so Brittany, how was your week?
Mine was good. Happy as well. Game Update 47 is out, and I'm eagerly awaiting next week when the DLC is out. I can't wait. I'm excited.
You got 100 marks of victory saved up already?
I've been capped for a while, actually, and now like all my characters are capped, so I'm waiting. Patiently
That's
waiting.
impressive.
I'm at 66, so I'm getting there.
Really? I'm actually pretty surprised.
Ow. Well, I was at 55 before Game Update 40, or at 47 beforehand. When Game Update 47 hit, I was at 55, and then I ran Hall of Hades and a bunch of stuff and got to 66. So yay. I work.
There's tons of content to run for T6, so you can get capped in about a day now.
Which is a good thing. So, Mepps, how was your week?
My week was great. What are you talking? Launching a game update is always fun. Sometimes it's more fun than others. This was a tricky one for sure. Luckily, we didn't have very many major technical issues like we've sometimes had, which is always great for me because those are the ones that take longer to fix. And obviously, we've just been, we've changed the game in a lot of fundamental ways with 47, and it's not easy if you're not looking at the whole picture to understand why. So it's just been a lot of repeating why, all that kind of stuff. I think this week has gone about as good as it could have, and I think we're well set up for the DLC, or sorry, the episode next week, and for all episodes to come.
Excellent, excellent. So, my week has been good. Got on some DCUO, played around with my munitions character a little more, loving it. And got to do some tier 3 content last night on my electric healer, which I forgot how fun electric healing is. Which I'm so happy I have a bunch of alts now, just so I can play around with different powers, because I really miss electric healing. And Galvanize is still OP. Just OP.
I actually switched powers yesterday.
What'd you switch
From
to?
what to what?
Sorcery to mental.
Really?
I gotta go back to trolling. Gotta fulfill those roles for, T7 content. Can't DPS all the time.
I remember I think it was Tuesday night when I was just trying to run stuff, and we need a controller. And Tuesday night seems to be no troll night. Just none.
The night that I was trying to run survival mode, there was no tanks to be found. No tanks. And I'm villain side, so...
Yeah.
So it's even more rough on me.
Yeah, you basically need to phone a friend.
Exactly.
or just pay one of your buddies to switch. That's how it's gonna have to go.
Yeah, I think that's mostly why I'm gonna go back to having 2 roles, because I didn't want to touch healing. So for the longest time, I was just kind of like, I'll just kind of stick to DPS guys. But no, I control and DPS mental, so
Okay.
just gotta gear myself.
All right. So, just like the title up there says, which hopefully it updated for everyone, there is a giveaway at the end of the episode, at the end of every episode. This week is a little different because I went to my local GameStop and there were no station cash cards. Like, just none. And I know they didn't run out because that GameStop does not sell PC stuff like that. So, I'm pretty sure I know why. If I don't know if Mepps, you can elaborate what happened to me.
Well, I know we are replacing the old SOE cards with Daybreak cards.
Daybreak cash.
I was not aware that we'd have the cards pulled this week or anything like that. So, and that may just be a GameStop thing. It may just be a regional thing. So, people should look around if they're still looking for cards.
Yes.
Any card you have or you can buy will still work. We're just rolling out cards with the right name on them.
More than likely, it's GameStop messing with you because they like to play tricks with your soul.
And there's Super Patriot.
Hey, everybody!
And he's here at the perfect moment, aren't you? So tonight will be 2 $10 PSN cash cards for my PC brethren when I go to every time I go to GameStop, or I will try and find a way to get my PC brethren their Daybreak cash, the DBC. I'll do a special episode just for you guys for all that. But for now, until GameStop figures a way to get the cards in stock, we'll have to do PlayStation Cash. So yay for the PlayStation players. Congratulations. So those will be given out at the end of the episode, so be sure to stay tuned and stay on it. So, Sir Patriot, now that you have joined us, how's your week been?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know
Yeah, we do.
how week's been. No, you really don't.
We care.
Well, to be honest, it wasn't that great of a week. Since Mepps is asking, we can totally put this all on Mepps.
Really?
What?
Yeah, because I had an uncle, my dad's brother, passed away recently, and the services for him were for this week. So,
Oh.
so
Sorry to hear that.
Appreciate it. But yeah, no, so everybody, thank Mepps for bringing down the mood. So.
Basically what happened.
But yeah, it was sudden. It was a surprise to everybody, but everybody's doing okay. We're everybody's coping.
Well, condolences, sir. Condolences.
Let's talk about something fun now.
All right.
Quick. Quick.
I just want to make sure we cannot talk about Avengers, right?
Probably not with Mepps here.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Well, you have, but still, it's like a DC show. We'll leave it for the end.
Yeah, you're right. It was pretty bad. No Superman or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this guy doesn't need Superman. Doesn't need Superman.
All right. So this past week, as everyone has found out on Wednesday, we had Game Update 47 hit the servers. Long, big old day, and all in all, I want to say it went smooth on my end, at least. I got home, and it wasn't like the whole world melted. It's still here. And, of course, like with any update, there were a couple of bugs, which we'll talk a little bit about in a moment. But let's just rejoice over Game Update 47.
Not nearly as long to get the servers back up either, as was predicted towards us. With the 10 hours.
That's true.
So.
We had a good run there.
Yeah, I mean that was probably shorter back when the updates were taking you guys only like 4 hours. That was probably actually didn't take you guys even 4 hours for this update. So I was like, wow, it's up already. Okay.
Yeah, for the first servers, yeah.
All right, so Soups, what have you found enjoyable about Game Update 47?
Well, I like the fact that. Can I first just say that I was sweating bullets with Update 47 coming because.
Oh my God!
With all the changes over for the marks and everything. I mean, I had a lot of Fury tokens saved up and all that. Because I always planned for the future. For paying rent on my mainframes and everything like that. So when the whole thing came up with the mainframes. Switching over, and it's all gonna be one mark, and we're only going to have 100 cap on the marks of victory and everything like that. I was sweating bullets because I was getting to the point where I had 4 boost 3s that were coming up due for rent on the same day the update was dropping. So I'm looking at, I logged on Tuesday. I looked. It said I had 10 hours, and I look at the clock, and okay, the updates, the servers are going down in 10 hours. Crap. So I logged on Wednesday morning, and I checked my mainframe. I checked the boost and everything. It said I had 17 minutes before they were going to expire, and then the world announcement came up saying the servers were going down in 20. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make it! I'm gonna make it!" And I don't know if Pixie's in the chat or not. She was on that morning, so I'm sitting here, and for some reason I don't know what was going on, but normally it updates the times you have left on it on those things, but it wasn't updating the expiration time. So I'm like, oh man. So I kept checking on that. So I logged off and logged back on a couple of times just to check the times and everything. And I was like, okay, 5 minutes left. I'm going to log off, and then I'm going to log back in, and I should be able to get it. So I log off the game, and I try to log back in. I get failed to connect, and I'm like, no. And so I tried again on that. I got on, and it was as soon as I got on, I checked the mainframe, and my sidekick one had expired. So I'm like, all right, I want to pay for this one here. And as soon as I got done paying for that one, my orbital strike one expired. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. They were expiring before my eyes as I was renewing them. So I was like, yes, got the rent paid up on them, and I was good to go. So I was happy about that. I was happy I was able to do that.
You just feel like so much of an accomplishment, like defusing the bomb. You're there just on time.
Oh yeah. Except I actually got it wasn't like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon 2. I actually got the bomb defused. I didn't have to grab the cat and run. But as far as the rest of the update is going, I can't really speak much towards it. I haven't really had a chance to really dive into it very much.
Gotcha.
Since the update dropped. But I have PvP'd a little bit with it. I'm really the combat mechanics, they seem a lot crisper to me. At least I haven't, seen any moments where it's like, wait, no, I'm like lunging him. How did he block break me? Haven't had any moments like that yet. So
I think there was just one instance where I blocked after I used a block breaker and I still got interrupted.
Right. Yeah, they didn't change the interrupt windows. Those were not changed. It was just when you see those vulnerabilities, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be more apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they should be synced up. And I mean, one thing to note is if you are lagging or if you experience lag, we're still a networked environment, so it's still lag and ping exist. We've just greatly improved how long things bounce around within our server, and fixed many things that go along with that. So you should see an improvement, but it doesn't mean that you'll never ever see lag or see something happen after something else.
Yeah, Dev Dirt for the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that definitely feels a lot crisper to me, at least. So I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, combat in general feels a lot smoother, better, feels great.
So, Vagrant, what's your favorite thing about Game Update 47?
Probably, honestly, the currency conversion. I've seen a lot of MMOs do that in general lately, and it just kind of makes more sense to do that. That way people aren't worried about how many, different pieces of currency they have to collect and marks and all that. It keeps it simple, keeps the game flowing better. At least in my opinion. Everybody was apparently crapping their pants over it for some reason. All in all, it just makes it to where it's not really much different than what you were currently doing in the first place. I mean, the only difficulties I've really heard about the game update is that some certain tiers of content are a little more difficult than they are intending. And it is also bringing to light that Tier 4 is a little barren with content. It's the only thing I've heard about Game Update 47 that they, I think, are addressing because, let's see, they have a post about all the bugs on forums already and what they hope to address soon.
Cool. Yes, I've talked to one person that's had absolutely nothing good to say about the update. And one of the things they were talking about was the way PvP is working right now, which, like Mepps said, I mean, it's as far as on their end, we're seeing what we're supposed to, but they can't help if somebody else is lagging balls. The other thing they had, their concern was about the mark conversion was the fact that we can't go back and order content to earn marks. By older content, I mean content below the CR rating that we're allowed to earn marks in.
My question has always been, like, what are you exactly getting out of those marks anyways that they didn't necessarily accommodate with what you're currently running?
Right, and that was the point I was trying to make. A couple of us were trying to make with them today was the fact that you can't go back in Tier 5 content and earn marks, marks of victory, but you couldn't do that before. You couldn't go back in the Tier 5 content and earn marks of fury.
Yep.
You were earning triumph. So that negates it right there. All Tier 6 content you're still between CR 100 and 116, you're still earning marks of fury in that. Yep. Or I'm sorry, your marks of victory now.
And you're still getting loot. You're still getting loot.
So it's still the same. And they were like, well, what about with the next DLC drops and the rare style vendor and you get over CR 116? I was like, well, that was going to be the same case, if not worse, when the next DLC drops, because even when the next DLC drops, Halls of Power 2, you get 117 CR, all right, you can only earn marks in that content, in that tier 7, technically the tier 7 content.
Yep.
So, and all the tier 6 would have been transferred over to Marks of Triumph if they hadn't done the Marks of Victory. So, it's still the same thing. And they were like, no, they're just convinced that down the road we're going to see this, like, it's, going to be really hard to grind out Marks of Victory this way. And I'm personally not seeing it.
The only content I'm worried about is, like I said, tier 4, because there's just not a lot to do in tier 4.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the item level increased on the tier 4
NPCs gear or something? Yeah, they did that.
No,
so tier 4 would. They did that, I think, technically, so tier 4 would be technically shorter. So you'd only need, like, maybe, I guess, half of a set to get past it. But the problem with tier 4 is I think you can only earn, I think, like 50-something marks per day. And then past, that's including raids, without replays. And then past that day that you do your raids, you're only earning maybe like 20 marks. So tier 4, it's going to be rough to get past.
There is a lack of small content for tier 4.
Yeah.
Decon came in the chat. Cool Pez. I'm guessing that'd be Pez Fedora. Great guy. Met him at SOE Live last year. We were looking at overlapping the tiers, though not down, but up. That way, your vendor gear that takes you out of your current tier isn't enough to take you out of being relevant for marks. That is definitely something positive to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if
like, you want to elaborate it for the audience, you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a pain for someone who feels like they're not ready to move on because they're not powerful enough to move on because they don't have the full set of gear yet, and it's a pain for people, especially non-members who are, own this episode but not the next one, and then they kind of out-level themselves out of the one they're in but don't feel like they're ready to move on to the next one. So that's the complaint. Totally valid, one that we didn't really conceptualize too much in time to get it in for the update. But so we will be overlapping the tiers so that, for example, you're in tier 3, you won't be in tier 4, or you won't be locked out of tier 3, I should say, until you have completed your tier 3 set and you are fully ready for tier 4. Now, we won't be taking away from you. You'll still be able to move to tier 4 at the time you are now with 3/4 of a set or whatever it is. But you don't have to. You can hang back and do all of that content for marks until you have that full set of gear.
Yep.
All right. Brittany, Miss I'm Mad at Trex, what's your favorite thing about Game Update 47?
Well, being able to break out. Probably my favorite thing.
Is that nice?
Not being repeatedly CC'd by a hard light DPS is
because of resist.
My favorite thing. Yes.
Thank you, resist.
But not all of their moves that used to stun you don't stun you anymore. So that's really nice. But just on top of that, being able to like instantly break out of something and not just standing there like an idiot is probably my favorite thing. Besides that, I do like the stat flattening and going back into old content and hitting stuff for 100k is really fun. If for nothing else, just to hit something for 100k makes me feel like Quantum, even though I'm not Quantum. But I like all the small changes. Like I do like the unified marks now. It's nice not having a whole inventory full of those tokens and like nothing to spend it on. So I like
symbols. Being capped on symbols.
Yeah, and seeing that red thing in my mark tab was kind of annoying. I also like the change to the mainframes. So now we only have 3 now.
Yeah, we have the 2 initial
3?
unlocks that are permanent, and then just the 1 boost.
Yeah, I like that.
Scales.
And then it's 30 or
and
60
they
days,
last 60 days.
Yes.
Yeah, and they last 60 days. Yeah.
I love
Heck
that
yeah.
they last 60 days. So those are some of my
Mepps, can you say how hard that was pushed for by the CRT?
I mean, a couple of people are on board, a couple of people weren't, so we'll just leave it nameless. Some people are too super to want stuff to last longer. And
This guy.
No, that was a big concern. You know, we went to the community council, or I'm sorry, the community roundtable now, with this information ahead of time, and it looks a lot different than that first proposal in live. And we're not going to get into details about what it was or who said what or how it changed, but you know, everybody out there owes those guys a lot of things, to be honest. And I know I do, because this week was pretty smooth, and it would not have been if we'd gone out with some of our original ideas, just things we hadn't thought of, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Yay.
No problem. So just for everybody out there to listen, the CRT is there for you. All right.
Oh my God! Can someone pat Super Patriots back already?
I'm just saying, man. That's pats on everybody's back. The CRT. You were there too, Trex. Trex wanted us to have to pay $50 every 30 days for each one.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that. Yeah.
I did. I'm not ashamed of it.
Can we talk about what else? Can we talk about what else was Trex's fault this week?
No, it's not. It's not my fault, because I had no part in it whatsoever. None. Anyways, I have to throw this. Mepps, what was your favorite thing about Game Update 47?
Oh, wow. It's got to be the combat responsiveness stuff. Just everything being crisp. And, you know, combat in our game is, you know, it's got Superman and Batman, and it's got this awesome combat system. Like, those are the two pillars that really hold us up, you know. So
Superman and Batman and the combat system.
Yeah, what I mean is, like, the DC Comics IP, right, and then action combat. And for a while, we kept adding, you know, little things to the system that over time slowed down the server and exposed what's the word? You know, things that were not done quite as well as they could have been done initially, you know, in the rush to create the game and get out the door, or things we didn't know were going to be a problem, didn't know were going to be impacted by mega servers versus, you know, sharded servers. And that's just gotten progressively worse, and stuff like, you know, who knew that popping an armory would cause server spikes, you know, in across the game that impacts people nowhere near you in content. You know, it's like these little things which we actually ironed out over the last few updates. And then with this update, Dirt really went through and sat down and rewrote the combat system to make information have to travel less back and forth on our end in the server before it just went back to you. And also removed... there's a ton of things. We're actually thinking about having Dirt do a live stream in the next couple of weeks to just really explain exactly what he did and how and why.
Yes.
I think people would enjoy that. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's really complicated engineering stuff that is at the core of our game.
You guys don't just like open up a window and there's a slider right there? You know, where you just move it from 9 to 11, or 10 down to 7 or anything like that.
That's not quite how it works.
If DevDirt does this, I have to point you to this service that Brittany brought me to called TreatStream, that viewers can actually order food for you at no price to you, and it would come to your house. That way, DevDirt would get all of his pizzas and the beer. Maybe, can they deliver beer? I've
got to start streaming more.
That's crazy.
We'll
see if we can get that to happen.
I've got to start streaming more. Where is this?
I found it on somebody's stream, but like you can order food for a streamer, and then like the streamer doesn't have to give out their address or phone number or anything like that, and it just comes to them.
I liked it in the chat. Everyone needs to try and get on this. It's I still need to fill out the rest of the form to actually get with it, but I'm already signed up. I just have to fill out one more thing, and I can start getting food delivered to me, which will be fantastic.
Wow.
I'm gonna have some really spicy Indian food delivered to you.
And for the stream, I would eat it and probably throw up everywhere and stream from the bathroom or something.
I mean, you guys think Trex sweats enough as it is when he's tanking something. Imagine that
This guy. This is why I didn't stream Hall of Hades. This is exactly why. So you didn't have ammunition. Luckily, someone else was streaming it, though, but you didn't see how badly I did.
Oh, man. I can't wait for you to stream the new raids. I can't wait to watch you, like, get pushed off the, what is it, the platform?
Okay, hold on.
On the ops?
Look, I tried every week to run those raids and test to prepare myself of my failures. Okay?
It's going to be great.
Trex, are you going to be able to run that DLC when it drops?
I hate you.
Online? What?
Okay. As a nice segue, my favorite thing about Game Update 47 is the fact that our CR and stats went up. So I was sitting at a nice cushion 111 overall, 109 because I had like a DPS weapon that was better than my tank weapon. A 109 CR, boom, 47 happens, I'm 111 across the board. I'm like,
you realize your stats went up because you were too lazy to mod before, right?
That's not the point.
I have a quick question for Mepps. How does it feel not to be the target? For once,
nice. It's okay.
I'll still mod when I have leftover stuff, you know. Now that I'm not forced into it, I can gradually go my own pace. But yeah. But I ran Hall of Hades and now I'm at 112. So.
You're on pace, so never?
Shut it,
What?
woman.
Like, you can't even put a beta in your mods just to get the affinity?
I don't want to cheapen my gear with betas.
Ice or something?
That's what, dude. You're not even. How are you gonna cheapen? How are you not cheapening your gear by not even putting a beta in there?
Whatever. Shush. God. I don't need to conform to you modders.
Modders. You act like we're you act like we're Steam and we're selling mods for Skyrim.
Which was not a bad business plan, to say the least. I mean, I understand why he did it. I understood why they got rid of it, too. But fine, I'll put beta mods in, and I'll be that guy running around. It's like, oh, look at this guy. He has beta mods. I'll be that guy. Fine. No, we're not getting a Trex own counter. Stop it, Decon. You instigator. Alright, so besides the stats and CR going up, my favorite thing, I do like the combat change. 21, stop it. I think the other thing I really enjoyed is the mainframe, because I've only unlocked either supply drop or the tactical mods. That's the only thing I've really paid attention to. Even my DPS spec does not have orbital strike, because I was like, I don't DPS a lot. I'm not a really serious DPSer. I don't care. But now I have a backup, sidekick, orbital strike. I blew my March of Triumph beforehand. And so now I'm sitting pretty, and I'm just waiting to get more marks, and probably after Halls of Power Part 2 to get the boosts for 60 days. So I am pretty happy with how the mainframe turned out, and I'm okay with it. I really am.
So you never purchased any of the boosts before?
I've purchased the boost for tactical mods, and that's it. I've never gotten boost for supply drop, because I always forget to use supply drop. Because I also never get into the situation I have to use my supply drop. Because I trust my healers and my controllers. Because I run with good people, ain't that right, Michael Grid? Yeah. And other people.
Or you die because you rage crash and can't drop it.
Oh,
Or whatever. If I rage crash, I legitly rage crash. Okay?
Didn't you have to pay those guys to run with you, though?
I hate you. I didn't pay them. We decided to do a run.
Grits, I do not know this Trex person.
I was nice enough to unlock it, and they didn't even know I unlocked it. So there, I did it as an act of kindness. And thank you for allowing the fact that I can unlock the instance for my friends, and I have that choice, because I have 3,300 replay badges I never use. I just don't use them.
Well, I think since we got this, it's been a while since Mepps has been on the show here. I'm wondering, what kind of questions are you able to answer for us while you're here, Mepps?
I mean, I can answer whatever you got, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Maybe. He said maybe.
He said maybe though.
I mean, what questions do you have, chat, or even you guys? We can do stuff.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I know the biggest question that I hear from a lot of people, and one that I really like to know is, crossplay was announced a while back, and I know Larry Liberty said that at the end of April we would be seeing it. Then, of course, we know the whole switch over to Daybreak, happened and everything, and everything. So obviously things got slowed down. Like the UI was put on hold and everything. Is there a projected quarter at least where we could
No.
where we could see crossplay?
No. Like honestly, that date guess, I was crazy. I can tell you there was a meeting about crossplay today. But
Yeah.
like, I have absolutely no idea when we're going to actually finish the work and get it all figured out.
Will we see it sometime this year?
I probably, but I don't have a date, so we don't even have really the kind of projected date. It's here's what we're doing, and we're still in the let's figure out what this means and how much work there actually is. And until we do that, we can't slot that work and we can't guess a date. So. No, yeah, I know. I would like it to be yesterday. I'm with you there.
Me too.
But the one thing that has thrown a wrench into things, both in figuring out what it means and what it takes, as well as time from the people who would be working on it, is the box with an X on it.
Yeah. There's a question here from Aaron Arrow about the defense formula. Do you know how it's calculated?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's a great question for Tunzo or someone else on the systems team. I have no idea.
Well, as the community manager, just make sure that Tunzo and Spord and, of course, Spittle, lovely Spittle, they are welcome on the show anytime. And if I have to take a day off of work to do it during the day when you guys are in the office, just let me know, and I will quit my job to do so.
Okay, good to know.
Maybe just call in sick.
No.
Can you just
I don't know about
schedule like a
quitting
vacation day or something like that?
I hate my job, and and just trying to get a vacation day, one vacation day was just pulling hair for me, and it was a nightmare. And this is just so I can go to my friend's wedding to have that day off. It was crazy. Just crazy. I had it was a 30-minute speech from the boss about this, and I was quietly rolling my eyes, and it was a nightmare. But anyways, Grid asks, will we see content after Halls of Power Part 2 that strays from the trilogies?
Yes.
So, like the proposed meta trilogy that we saw announced last year's SOE Live, is that's still on the
agenda?
On the schedule there for episode release?
So the schedule itself is basically blown up after we get past this episode. As far as what's coming when, like, we're not going to do 6 pieces of War of the Light content at once. Again, it's all going to be broken up, spread out, and other things will be mixed in too. In fact, the first things going out are not part of the trilogies at all. So, at least one of the first things going out is not part of the trilogies at all. But
can I ask?
And so the storylines planned for the Meta Krypton trilogy, those are still in the list of things to do for sure. I don't know exactly where it's going to fall at the end of the day. Yes, ask.
Okay. I was going to ask, some of the content being planned, are you going to wrap up some old storylines that were never taken care of, possibly?
Possibly.
Is that
I
the
mean,
new
of course,
soon?
we're going to wrap up the trilogies at some point.
Obviously,
For sure.
obviously.
And I think, you know, it's just there's so many storylines ripe for you know, more inspiration. You know, this never quite ended, or this could go further. You know,
Yeah.
as far as things like that. There's a ton of that, and you know, part of the cool part of splitting into monthly individual episodes that aren't tied to a whole, you know, theme together DLC pack is that we can do these one-off stories and do them move on, do them come back to them, that kind of thing. So we can also, we'll be able to, and we will be at some point asking the players, asking the community, you know, which of these storylines do you want to see, and then we'll make that. We have that flexibility now.
Awesome.
So, like,
So look for that in the future. Long time from now, really, because we need to get this episode and then into our cadence. But keep an eye out for that.
For a lot of players that don't know, one of the original things that was never wrapped up was the Kondak story. Just
I
kind
was
of
just going to say Kondak 2? Maybe?
That's what he meant by possibly, and that's kind of what I was alluding to. And what makes me excited about it is that they can actually introduce a lot more characters in content, because we haven't seen anything from Green Arrow, Black Canary in a long time, Flash, things like that. I mean, they're kind of in the storylines which for these trilogies, but they're never really the central focus.
Right. Yeah,
You know, that would be a great, like, thread on the forums. You know, storylines in the game or characters in the game you want to see more of. Boom, let us know.
Boom. Question here from Decon. Will there be an announcement of the next year of what's to come to DCUO, since we don't have an SOE Live or a Daybreak Live this year?
That's a good question.
there is Mepps.
I don't know. That's not a thing. We have traditionally had that yearly event and kind of scoped out our plans for the year. That's something we should think about as we get closer to that kind of time frame, if we want to do something like that.
That would be a special FNL episode.
Sure, yeah, it could be a really, or
cool.
there's a lot of different ways. Yeah, we haven't really gotten that far, so we'll take that under consideration.
And for a lot of people who don't read either like Zam.com or other websites about gaming news, John Smedley, the president of Daybreak Games, did a couple of interviews and did state basically on how the company is right now, about what happened during the transition. But he also noted that next year there will be an event. There will be the annual event next year. Any information on that? There's none. All he said was it's coming back next year. They just couldn't do it this year, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, well, yeah. When was like the transition going on, like, and when did it end? Like, literally maybe like a month ago, right? I mean, because you're just now getting your icon,
which is awesome. Love the Daybreak icon. This logo.
Oh yeah, the logo. Yeah, I mean, it's been a roller coaster for sure, and we're still. I think we've been a company for like 81 days or something. So, yeah, there's a lot to get sorted out before we can get everything kind of back to what you might expect.
Did you finally get your photo shoot with the new ID badge and everything? 'Cause I saw Dex on her Instagram with the pineapples and stuff.
So I was out and I was in the makeup shoots, and I just got my new badge with a picture on it, but I haven't seen any of my other pictures, so we'll see if those are fit for public consumption or
not. We got Frank White, DCUO. Will you ever have an esports type PvP?
I mean, that's a good question. We've kind of tried to go there with the Legends format and the Legends tournaments. If there's interest, it's possible.
I know one thing that when we were at SOE Live last year, when you actually met Pez Dora for the first time, introduced himself and talked a little about his background, for the fact that he came from PlanetSide 2, which is still a great esports game and really needs to hold more tournaments. For the fact that he's now over for DCUO gave me a little bit more positive outlook for a spectator mode when you guys actually have time in between development and stuff, for the fact that he has a little bit of knowledge in that aspect. So hopefully we see something in the future. But with Pez Fedora in that studio, I have good hopes.
Yeah, and I think there too, it's really, if we can get the PvP mode revitalized, then it's worth an investment of time, including esports, including, a tournament system perhaps, including spectator mode in some way, that kind of thing. But it's baby steps to get back there for sure.
I just saw it. Diz Aster 152 asked, the price on Steam for the episodes, will they change?
Yeah, so we pulled everything off of Steam with the transition, and what's on Steam now are the bundles we came back with. The other episodes, at least the most recent ones, will be going back on Steam in the near future, actually, just to get us caught up. And they will be at the normal prices. So that the older episodes are $5 and the newer episodes are $10. And that will continue, obviously, through this episode, and then we'll have a new pricing scheme. And I don't know if the monthly episodes will be on Steam individually or not yet.
Okay, so Halls of Power Part 2 is still going to be the $9.99?
Yeah.
Okay. That was definitely my follow-up question. Brittany, do you have a question that you would like to ask?
On the spot.
She probably muted Mike.
Not at this time, no.
All right, so I've got you mentioned PvP and all that was brought up and everything. When is there PvP Season 4?
We don't have dates on when the next PvP season will be. We would like to do one, of course, but I do not know when.
All right.
I think I have another question. Since a lot of players have kind of, I hate to beat this dead horse just for other players, but since Tier 4 is kind of low on content and Game Update 47 kind of makes it to where players have to experience the game the way it's meant to be played tier by tier, that way you can kind of see DC Universe for all it has to offer. Is there any kind of plans to maybe every now and then kind of address the lack of content in Tier 4, using duos that maybe you can just kind of fulfill for Tier 4 for players to just kind of get through that content? We have very specific plans to add small group content to Tier 4. There we go.
We do not have very specific dates on when that might possibly happen.
That's great, though.
Well, at some point, maybe we'll get to it. It's something we would like to do. I think it's always been a problem, and it's maybe more obvious of a problem now. But it's priority-wise, it's below a couple other things for sure.
For sure. All right, so Veracity Z, why did you guys make Prime and Nexus Raid stupid hard?
We can talk about that. We didn't make them stupid hard on purpose this time. We maybe made them stupid hard on purpose when we made them. They were punishing when they came out. Well, at least Prime was. I guess Nexus was too.
To an extent.
To an extent?
Yeah. Although, actually, are you really having trouble with Nexus?
No,
there.
We went in there with 7 people. It's just the ads and bosses have a lot of health.
Yeah.
It's...
Well, it's gone back to where you do need to pay attention to mechanics, and everyone goes in thinking, oh, I can just, use my whole rotation without moving or paying attention to anything at all.
Yeah, so there are kind of a couple things going on there. So, well, first of all, Prime. In the words, I think it was Locke I was talking today, he said, literally everything in Prime is done backwards of the way, we would like people to do it, because it was back in the day that it was created, which means it's made difficult, not in the ways we would normally standardly make things difficult. It was made difficult with these one-off strange solutions that were specific to the event, to a specific attack, to a specific boss. which means when you change the balance of everything across the game based on how things should be, when you have these things that have been adjusted manually to not be correct, they explode in different ways. And so things in Tier 4 in Prime are a little bit more difficult than maybe we want them to be, because they just need retuned, because they were tuned so manually the first time. With things like Nexus, what tier is Nexus in?
Tier
5.
Yeah. What tier are you in?
6.
You're on 6. So with the stat flattening, your stats are closer together. There's less of a headache for us. There's so many reasons we made that change, including just at some point numbers would be so big the system would explode and not work. So we're set up for the future there. And with that, the CR differential really kicks in 2 tiers later. So you're not 2 tiers ahead of Nexus. You're not going to stomp through it. And then finally, like, the tech we have for the big tells that will one-shot you if you're being absolutely stupid in the middle of a death field, like, they will continue to be devastating to you no matter what tier you're in. That's just
good.
You can't just walk in and say, hey, this death bomb from Superman means nothing to me because I'm a couple. No, you're going to have to actually play the raid and the mechanics. Now, your health will get more, your damage will get more, things will become trivial, you'll be able to solo stuff eventually. That's still the plan. You still progress in power. That doesn't mean you can totally ignore your surroundings and just be like, some sort of deity on Earth. So those 3 things together make Tier 4 especially kind of troublesome, because people haven't been paying attention to mechanics in Tier 4 for forever.
For a long time now.
Yeah.
And
so you're going to have to pay attention to those, and we'll get some things fixed too, and it won't be quite as difficult. So.
That's what I liked about this whole update in general, because it will teach newer players to play the game that it was meant to be played. Because newer players were just kind of coming in. Their friends would say, hey, in a week you can do the current content with me, let me run you through everything, never showing you any kind of mechanics or anything like that until current tier. So I like that new players that are coming in get to experience what we experienced. And overall, just, I think it makes the game better, it makes more sense now, and people don't just skip content. Especially after, all the developers worked hard on it. For people to just kind of run over it in 5 minutes flat, that's kind of something that I was worried about.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, you want new players to be able to get through the game to play with their friends without spending 3 years catching up, right? On the other hand, the way power leveling worked in our game was just too much before,
too fast.
Where you could kind of jump around, do some nifty things, play a couple pieces of content, and suddenly be in the end game. And that's really cheating yourself. You didn't get to experience the game. Sure, you're all up CR-wise with maybe your friend who's recruited you to the game, which is good, but let your friend come down, at least spend a couple of weeks leveling, so you play every piece of content once, at least see the story, at least learn your power, and this does kind of take that into account and make that more of a reality for most players.
Got a couple of questions here coming from TMK Clone. I didn't copy his name, so I might have spelled it wrong. But I know him specifically from the server, from the forums. He's a good guy. Do you have plans to greatly expand the marketplace to contain more cosmetic items, lair items, styles, etc., etc.?
I mean, so the most time that we spend on anything in the game is making something visual, whether it's styles, whether it's a new environment, whether it's a base item, whether it's a new lair thing. The visual things take the most time, and styles probably the absolute most of those, because it's not just your one style, it's your style for male and for female on all these different body types. So that said, we would like to add things to the marketplace, but there's a huge time constraint there. Especially, whatever specific style you're craving is something you want, but most of the players probably don't. Everybody else has that one thing they want. So to be able to make those things and then be able to sell them such that we're not just out of business, very quickly, it's a difficult proposition. So it's something we want to do more of for sure, and it's something we want to continue to expand, but not at the price of having styles in episodes and having new cosmetics come out in bundles and that kind of thing.
Okay. Epic Lurker has, with the change to marks, will the weeklies for lanterns become dailies?
No.
No. Okay. And then Dutch Pawn, with the changes of the new DLC releases, when will the new SM be available?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we've always timed survival mode to hit at kind of that last month of the quarter before the new episode is out, new DLC is out, to give you something, give those really hardcore, awesome players who've maxed out, who are as powerful as they're going to get, something to chew on. So that's a good question. I think I'm gonna have to go back and check, but I think we've timed out, in the cycle. We still have kind of a 3-month cycle of content. I think we've timed out where we want to drop that survival mode, but I'm not entirely sure. So you're still gonna see them about every 3 months, but exactly where it is in the new cycle is yet to be determined.
Okay. Yeah, the mechanics for Paradox Wave and Nexus of Reality, I recommend YouTube. I have ran both of those once, and I never stepped my foot back into it. I literally skipped those two raids. I skipped them. No, I'm sorry. No, when that thing released, when Origin Crisis released, the headache I saw on the forums from Subes, from Brittany, from everyone, I'm like, you know what? I don't want any part of that. That drama, I am no way getting near. I
don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you're talking about, Trex. I solo fire tank Nexus when it first dropped.
I loved the difficulty.
I did too.
At that time, I have to say,
beyond YouTube, just look around when you're in the instance. Don't be quite so focused on your rotation. They're like big things bouncing around the screen.
Yep.
Things that will kill you if they hit you. So you see them and you move. People are talking about getting one shot. If you're getting one shot,
most likely you're standing in
there.
something.
Most likely it's a mechanic you're not paying attention to. There might be something wrong. I'm not saying there isn't anything wrong, but if you're having trouble in most of the T4, T5 raids, like Malibu, Ogbar 123 is, then it's probably not them. It's probably something you're doing. And I guess ask your friends to see if they can verify that.
Yeah, and when I say skipping it, when I say skip, I basically didn't do them. I think Origin Crisis was a large DLC. It didn't have. I became a solo. Large. Yeah, I became a solo player around that time.
I saw the one time you ran Nexus, and I don't know if you guys beat it or not.
We did.
I think I fell asleep.
Ouch.
Waiting for you to beat that. So
Well, you remember, I come from a class of raiders who we spend 4 hours a night raiding, and we don't even complete the instance. We're clearing wings, okay? So I'm sorry if I'm not used to the 45-minute raids, all right? I want an hour raid. That's my raid, because I have that time. I'm sorry if no one else has that time. But get onto the level.
But you don't have the time to mod your gear.
I do not. Badge of honor.
Are you with beta mods? It's a headache.
Oh my gosh.
So, and the issues that you're looking at with Tier 4 and Tier 5 with those raids, go to the forums. There, we're all Game Update 47, of course, brought bugs, and when an update doesn't bring a bug, then that would be the end of the world for me. It's like something went wrong. They did this perfect. That's not possible. Something had to happen. No offense, Mepps, but there's nothing perfect in this world, especially when it comes to a computer game.
No, that's not something to take offense to. I don't think people realize how complex and massive an MMO game is. Even just adding little things, everything touches everything else, and certainly doing a full update like this that touches so many things and reworks so many things, there's going to be stuff that we miss, absolutely. Luckily this time, nothing hugely major. I think the biggest thing was people got double loot drops, which nobody's complaining about for some reason, which I don't get. It's a huge problem.
Well, I
But
think
yeah,
the last time you were on here was around when Hand of Fate was first dropped, and we had talked about there was a glitch going on where you could get quadruple loot, and I think I recall saying something along those lines. You guys should do like maybe a quarterly event where that is a real thing, an intended thing. Because I mean, if you guys are trying to money grab on replay badges, like everybody says, that would be the time to do it.
Yeah, Mepps linked the known issues and update. If you feel that there is a piece of content or a boss that is giving you troubles, if it's one-shotting you, if you have a tier 4 raid boss one-shotting you, look at your combat log or even your combat parser, which I recommend everyone using, and be as detailed as possible what's going on and report it. Because it just might be, it's like, oh, you know what? That's not supposed to happen. We'll get that fixed. Or it's, you
stood in front of a one-shot.
Yeah, that could be that. And
I mean, the other thing, too, is right now you're at the very end of Tier 6 if you are maxed out. Prime is the very end of Tier 4. So you're just getting into that range where it should be trivial. This all gets easier over time as you continue to level up. So, right now is as bad as it gets, if that makes sense.
I guess what seems weird to me is that, like, running docs right now almost feels the same as running lab in halls. Like, is it supposed to be like that?
No,
or is there supposed to be some slight variation in difficulty?
There should be a steady progression where Tier 3 is easier than Tier 4, is easier than Tier 5, is easier than Tier 6. Right. And because of the way things were made, like, things have been made correctly and to a slightly different difficulty standard since Tier 4. And those two things combined right now make Tier 4 harder than they should be. Absolutely does. But that's the issue you're seeing with, like, the ads have too much health or the ads are doing too much damage. That's not the I'm getting one-shot by mechanics problem.
No, it's not that. It's just, like, when we were running docs the other night, like, it literally felt how it was back when it first came out and we were, like, at level, at the gear level that we were supposed to be to run that.
And that's exactly what we're looking at.
I'm not opposed to that. It seems just slightly off. Because that
it is
almost
off
felt harder than the other
you go to
ones.
Tier 5 and it's easier, right? That's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, docs actually feels like it's harder than the Tier 6 raids right now.
Okay, well, you go to Tier 6 and it's easier. That's not the intention.
Yeah.
It should steadily progress. So those are the kind of like the things we have to just look at the things one off. It's like, why is that happening? And we'll get that addressed as we go, fine-tuned as we go.
Okay.
Game on Gabe, when Game Update 46 or 47, sorry, when Game Update 47 first came onto the test server, that first week, we as a Tier 6 player, it took me forever to beat a Tier 2 solo. And it was because on how the stat flattening happened and where it was basically just making it. It was supposed to be trivial content for me at that tier, but me being me, I actually enjoyed the hell out of that Tier 2 duo or solo. I enjoyed all the old content because I had to fight for it. Now, some people want to go in there and one-shot it, and you should. You're Tier 6, going to Tier 1, maybe you should be able to one-shot things. Maybe. But for me, I like still having to follow mechanics. I still like having to not defeat a boss in one shot. One of the things that I loved about it when it first came on was that we tried to do an old 4-man alert. We tried to do an old alert, and all of us were on our toes. We were on our toes. We were working hard. We just weren't sitting back on the chair just, yeah, whatever, man. How was your lunch? Lunch is good? Okay, good. You had to put forth the effort, and that's what I loved about Game Update 47 test. And now when they did the updates, they made the Tier 2 tiers trivial stuff. I was okay with it. And I still went into Coast City as a tier 6 now, or whatever my CR is, and I still put forth some effort, but I wasn't one-shotting everything, or I wasn't 3-shotting it. I was still working with the lower CR people, so it wasn't trivial for them, and it wasn't a waste of time for me. I still helped them learn how it goes. Now, some people might not have that mindset, and it's okay. Every player's different, but I'm just right. No, I'm just joking. But
I think what a lot of people thought was happening is, like, you're giving us less reasons to go back and run older content, and that never should be the intention, and it never was. Older content will always have its benefits. You might be missing a style, you might be missing when getting to higher tiers will make a feat that might have been hard during you just kind of go in and either help a friend, things like that. Those things will still exist. It's just they were where content, or well, really it was a whole combat readjustment. That was that addressed. At the same time, I think they also wanted to make it to where content wasn't going to be stupid.
Yeah, Baker, you got a little bit of a robot voice there. But
no.
Is it just me, or was that somebody else hear that?
That's definitely him.
Don't say anything.
No, Brittany, your speakers are just broken once again.
Oh, yeah, just like that fuzzy stuff, or that crazy
You're not
static.
Nah, I figured out.
Coming from you.
Yeah. We ain't talking about last night. We're not talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, why don't you guys like my music? I'm like, wow, this isn't music.
I know what happened, Shush. It was my bad. I didn't mute my stream. That was the problem. I didn't mute my stream, and sound was overriding. It was bad. Just bad. So Game Update 47 changed a bunch of stuff, and again with the raids, especially if you're looking at a boss and you feel that something's wrong with it, post it onto the forums. There is a thread with the known issues and updates. Post it there, and boom, done deal. Just done deal. And yes, this will be on the YouTube. This would be, if you have to leave, it'll be on my YouTube channel this weekend, probably Sunday morning. And it'll also be on iTunes to listen in as well, in case you miss it.
Can I say something about Legends PvE?
I was thinking the same thing. Same thing.
I'm just gonna sit over in the corner.
Can I say something about Legends PvE?
Well,
I'm really
here,
enjoying.
sure.
I'm enjoying Smallville a lot more now.
Thank you. I was
update.
going to say the same thing. I can't
See,
wait for
Trex thought it was going to be so bad.
13-minute Smallville runs? Yeah, I'll take that.
You feel a little bit more super?
I guess, except for the Doomsday part when you turn into the form or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
we're
really
looking at that.
cluster, but that's fine. I don't really care about that. It's just you can actually kill things like by yourself, and it's amazing, and I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the part where you had to go around and capture the Doomform citizens and all that is definitely a lot quicker. Because that's the part that always dragged groups down for getting the speed feed.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, because there's a way to do it. I mean, I did get the speed feed before the update, but it's that part right there is because the quickest way to do it is to split up into 2 groups and go around and get them.
I haven't even ran it.
Oh, try it. You're gonna.
Baker, you're gonna want to rub one out when you're done. Trust me.
It's literally like how we thought. That's how it is, and it's not that great, but it's a lot better.
It wasn't the difficulty that I hated about Legends PvE. It's just, yeah.
Well, you're not gonna like to have to. I'm still not gonna like to have to run over 5,000 or whatever.
Over time.
It wasn't even that, and the number's a little ridiculous, but it's just to me. I feel like it was a missed opportunity for something that could have been a little more. But I can see like where the difficulty could have been. But am I still going robotic?
No.
No,
better.
it's not better.
Okay.
I guess
Because I
it's
don't
tedious.
talk for like 5 minutes, and then it's like, oh, I didn't hear any of that.
I will say that
was-
when Smallville was first on the test server, it wasn't difficult, but I mean, and it was a little bit more fun than what we've experienced so far. Not League of Assassins fun, but it was still fun. Now with the Game Update 47, when it hit with the Legends change, with the damage for the trade powers, yeah, it's become a breeze. Definitely a breeze. A nice summer breeze. Which is good.
It's really nice. Like, this is how I envisioned when they talked about Legends PvE. This is how it was going to be. It wasn't going to be, just a cakewalk, but it also wasn't going to be something so tedious that I didn't want to play the game anymore. So
Yep,
I think it's a
I think-
nice balance.
We definitely heard the feedback there. It's more of an event. It's more of a thing where you get to have fun as a character that's not your own for a shorter amount of time. And I think we've made steps there to make things easier and quicker and more fun. That said, these feats are designed to last you years. Like, they're not something you're supposed to complete tomorrow. Which, damn you, Census, for just killing them. But that said, we're also kind of looking at those numbers too. So I don't know if we've made any decisions there, because it is supposed to be a long-term feat. So there's always something for people to come back to. But they might be a little bit excessive.
A little?
Yeah, just a little.
I mean, I'm all for grinding, but...
Good, you're all for grinding.
only-
We won't change it.
Boom!
Like he said.
Thanks,
Can we
Brett.
just keep trying on then for like the duration of this, and that'll be great. Thank you.
The only thing I was hoping for was like little one-off stories that, like, in League of Assassins, you'd have to run it as Batman, Huntress, Robin, and Nightwing, and then there's like a little story in between. And I can kind of see why that can't happen. You'd have to get voice actors and events and not actual new content. There's no reason to spend resources there.
I mean, that is the thing. This is something we can do without taking away from the other things we're doing. So we're not making new instances. We're not making new voiceover, new stories, new cutscenes. We're not doing that. We're taking the old instance we have and repurposing it in a new way, in a very, time-limited way, so that we can keep doing as many episodes and instances we're doing for new content.
Shadow Cyborg asks, what happened to the DGC census website for DCUO? It changed the URL, didn't it? For the
which
census?
one?
For the census for
Oh,
DCUO, didn't it change?
Yeah, well, that site is not quite launched yet. I don't know the status of its URL, to be honest. The player site he's asking about.
Oh, okay. That's right. But, I mean, since that site isn't really up and running, there's also DCUO Live and Wave Docs. Those two sites, or maybe actually the only two sites that I know that uses DCUO Census. Those are great sites to go to as well. I recommend DCUO Live because it's ran by our buddy Soar, and I'm... what's that word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it.
No, nobody has any idea.
Not modded.
No, oh, ha ha ha.
Metamods?
Nope. Whatever. Try to help here. All right. Let's see. Veracity Z. Let me ask Mepps, where do we find these proper groups to run older content at this difficulty? LFG, man. LFG. Or
Yeah, join
Shout.
LFG or queue up. I mean, it's tough to queue up for raids, especially on level. So you might want to get in LFG, form your own group.
And just remember, everybody who are like tier 6 and want to run old stuff, just because you're over the CR and you don't get marks, you still get loot, you still get your feats done, so it's still semi-relative content. All right, it's not completely a waste of your time. You can do everything, you can still get everything, but the marks. The marks you only get when it's your relative CR tier content.
Yeah. Okay, one last question.
No, it's not.
Can we please make 4-man operations count towards the alerts feat?
They're not alerts. They're operations.
But they count towards nothing except for its separate contents. Or at least do 500 operations feet or something like that.
It's a good
please
point.
No.
We can do 5,000.
I would mind it.
I hate you, Baker.
No, please, God. But at least either make it to where it counts for alerts or operations do 500 of them. I wouldn't mind that because there's a lot more operations than they're used.
What do you think, chat? Is Robot Vagrant correct?
Ah.
Did they even hear what he said?
Honestly, if it's 4-man content, it should count towards the alert feed. I understand their operations. I feel they should count towards the alerts. I really do.
Should we just not call anything operations anymore? Should we just have alerts and raids?
This is somebody who has his 500 alerts feed done, so it doesn't really matter to me unless you guys add 750 and 1,000 alert feeds. It doesn't really matter to me. But I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that. No more challenge feats.
I always thought it should have been. I always thought it should have been called alert under like Lin operation or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That might have been a better plan in hindsight.
We got Astro Mama, a question from Mepps. So the rumor buzzing, when you spawn all kinds of crazy stuff throughout the game, in-game instance link dead breaks. People can't get back on the game until their character logs out. People are blaming you, and I think it's all good and fun.
That's definitely a rumor. These events are dirt approved and have no impact on the server whatsoever.
Can I just sit back?
I was going to say, we had a server crash yesterday. Wednesday. I don't know what day it is. We had a server crash when 47 launched, where if you were hit by that, you were not... link that didn't apply to you and wouldn't work. So that may be what they're talking about. Maybe that's fixed. That's all better.
When you caused chaos on the USPS server and everybody got DC'd?
Yeah.
Is that what they might be talking about?
That's what they're talking. They're talking
That
about when
one
you
time.
specifically met.
No, he's saying in-game instance. In the instance. You're not an instance if you're in my event. And everybody popped right back in. Brittany, you were there. You popped right back in.
Oh, she's blushing. Oh.
I think that's a lie.
When are we gonna have world events like in beta?
We should really sit down and think about that because
I loved that world event.
I don't remember what happened. We had like
Lex versus Superman in the open world.
Yeah, I think it was Jim Lee playing as Superman. That was pretty cool.
No, he was playing as the Joker.
Playing as the Joker, okay.
Yeah.
But that was awesome.
Yeah. Total lag fest during beta on the PS3, but it was.
But
awesome.
it was meant to be. It's meant to be a stress test.
Right.
But the whole idea of it was just.
Well, I gotta say, the most fun event I had was this one we did last week, or not last week, but during Daybreak Week, where the Lex Luthors pushed the heroes all the way back to their police station.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was laughing. We started in the middle of the park. Slowly, everybody just got pushed back to the PD. Oh, that was hilarious.
Ticken's right. Ticken's right. Every day in DCO is a stress test. Let's see. Any people?
I think I just got kicked out of Legends PvE by somebody that doesn't like me. Even though I was doing fantastic in there.
Well, if you ignore them, you'll never have to be queued with them ever again.
Boom.
I don't know. People miss this. It's like a huge thing in this update. But your ignore list is now. I'm not ever going to enter an instance with you ever again. So
Does that work for PvP, or is it just like
it
Not
works
PvP.
it works for PvP as far as grouping with you, not as in fighting against you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at the patch notes now, and I'm looking at the ignore list. Players on your ignore list will no longer be grouped with you when matchmaking through the on-duty menu. It doesn't even say anything about the... Is this the account thing you're talking about? Like, account-wide? Ignore?
It's not account wide. It's character to character right now.
Okay.
So yeah, okay, if they got on a different character, you could get in a group with them in theory. We are still working on that along with the other kind of vote kicking related changes that we had whip thread on a while ago. And some of those changes may be in GU48.
Which is not my fault.
What's not your fault?
What kind of things can we look forward to? I mean, since it's going to be coming out on test here, is there anything you can spoil for us right now that what's going to be in Update 48?
You want me to leak some 48 goodness?
If you want to, yeah, go ahead, man.
So there are
Feel
a couple of cool things. I'm not going to go over everything or exhaustive list, and this could really subject to change because who knows. But there are a couple of really cool marketplace items, in the update. Items that could rename your leagues.
Ooh.
Items that could undelete characters if you, for some reason, accidentally deleted them. Items that could undelete items if you destroyed items on accident. So...
What if you accidentally
pretty-
salvaged... so is it only if you delete them, not if you accidentally salvaged them?
Not if you accidentally salvage them. That would be...
Okay.
Too bad for you. Except we're also looking to add a flag so you can flag the items in your inventory as protected, so you cannot accidentally sell, delete, or salvage those items.
Yes.
So those
I know at least one person in my league that's going to be very head over heels about that.
Nice.
Yeah, should be pretty nice quality of life improvement. Stop the mistakes from happening, and then if you still somehow manage to mess up, there's a quick way for you to recoup and get that item back if you've deleted it, or get that character back if you've deleted it.
I can't
Without going to customer service and being told no because we don't have the bandwidth anymore. It's
How about not collected style and plans being up?
I didn't quite hear that. Try again.
God damn. Because my
Your internet censored you.
Yeah, really. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can. Hurry up and quickly.
I said, in the auction house, if you're missing a style or a plan, it still shows collected styles.
Does it show collected styles and
I
stuff?
think what he's wanting to know is if there's going to be a way for you to filter out already collected styles.
And plans.
That's not in 48. I think we've heard of the quest, and I think there was a related bug going on too about things showing incorrectly, which made that even more painful. The bug is getting worked on. I don't know where we are at on the on improving the broker UI. That's not coming soon.
Ticken's asking, do you know how far back you can get a deleted tune?
Good question. I want to say it's going to be 60 days. So it's either 60 or 90. I think it's 60. Once a tune has been deleted for that long, it is permanently removed from the universe automatically, and the data's gone at that point. So you're going to have to come back and undelete your tune relatively
Okay. Thinking people were hoping like longer.
Yeah. No. There is a time limit.
All right, so let's see. Any more questions?
While you're looking there, I got a question. So, all right, we know that the serums is the next power that's being released. Do you know? Can you tell us exactly when about speaking look to see serums being released, and why was the decision made to kind of like break the cycle for power releases? Because normally what we would see a troll power, then a heal power, then a tank power. Why were the two powers kind of switched around, where we're getting a tank power first?
Well,
before
we love tanks a lot more than trollers, you know.
Booyah.
So it's because Spittle wanted it, right?
No, these three powers actually, munitions, serums, and atomic were kind of conceived together at the same time and announced at the same time. And just the way things shook out as far as concept and as far as tech, serums is further along, so we could get serums out a lot sooner than we could get atomic out. And getting atomic out would mean waiting longer for both of them. So serums got bumped up and atomic got bumped back.
Okay.
So with
But I think it's
serums, is there any way that Trex will be able to kill himself
Oh my god!
without doing anything other than not hitting a power?
He does that with
What is
in the
this?
Does that with
design
Rage Crash.
Yeah, definitely. That's the core feature of the power is Trex can accidentally stab himself in the arm. And not just like knocked out, I mean die. Like new character time. We call it Trexing internally.
New mechanic.
Oh my god.
De-aggro to...
Guys are horrible.
So, yeah, I noticed you didn't answer the other part of the question, though. How soon can we expect to see serums?
I don't have a date.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of stuff in the pipe now. We've got this episode to get out, this
Right.
last big episode, and then we've got to get in our cadence for the new episodes. And granted, a lot of that's on the content team, where powers are more systems or more spored, burning the midnight oil. But there's a lot of work on the horizon, so it's a little ways off still. It's not imminent. It's not going to be like next month, next update, or anything like that.
But the
Tomorrow.
I'm sure we'll do a preview of it well before it's ready. So keep an eye out for it. Not tomorrow. Not Saturday, May 9th.
How's crossplay coming along? No update.
It is coming along. We don't have a time frame. Yeah, I think we've said that.
Same with the new UI, correct?
Well, no, new UI is not coming along. New UI is on hold indefinitely. So there's a big difference actually between those two. No work is being done right now on the new UI. At some point in the future, it may be done again. Crossplay is still worked on.
I'm gonna cry.
It's okay, buddy. What you need to do is we need to go to college, learn coding, and then apply for Daybreak.
Let's do it.
Or we can go to a codeacademy.com and learn coding there.
Together.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
You guys could intern for free at the Asta studio there, and just stay at Mepps' house.
As you hear the silence, you just feel it.
Internal MEPSCon.
All right. So you guys keep coming up with questions in chat. You want to ask Mepps. I wanted to point this out while Mepps is here, and let me screen capture it real fast. And this is a big shout out to Chicken and Zaus and Lady Lightning as well, because they help moderate this bad boy. What you're looking at on screen now is the DC Universe Online issue tracker. All right, this is the dgcissuetracker.com. This is the dashboard for DC Universe Online. There are also dashboards for EverQuest, PlanetSide, and all the other Daybreak games. But this right here is specifically for DC Universe Online. So, you've seen the links on the forums, and I wanted to give you guys a visual. This is where you want to come and really report any bugs that you find. This is the place. Mepps, you want to talk a little bit about it since I don't have Ticken here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so this is a huge tool for us, not only at DCUO, but the whole company. And some players go just out of their way to be helpful and make sure that the bugs that you experience in the game get reported, and then get reported in a way that we can use and fix. So, I mean, the basic idea is go to the forums, go to the Arkham bug forums, and if you're not sure something's a bug, talk about it with other players. Is this intended? Is this not? Figure it out. And then go to the issue tracker and say, here's a bug I have. Here's how I can get it to happen every single time I do this, this, and this, and then you see it happen. Explain what you expect should happen and what happens instead, and then submit it. After that, the moderators there, the player moderators, like Ticken, go through and follow your steps and see if they can reproduce the issue. Is it, does it happen to them? Do you have the details correct? Is there something that can be added? If they can't reproduce it, then they say, you need to give us more info, and at that point it happens. Some things are intermittent, and those are the hardest ones to track down, but most things can be reproduced with simple steps. And once we have those steps internally, then a dev can go to their machine with their tools and see it happen in front of them, and that's how we get it fixed. So after the player moderator goes through, they mark it confirmed, and then it goes into the confirmed list. And these are things that the community's reported, and then the reliable moderators have double, checked and made sure they're real. And then at that point, you can upvote and downvote things that are important to you, which lets us know this bug is more important to the community than this other bug, and that kind of thing. And then our QA guys go in there as time is available and just start knocking those out and getting those transferred from the issue tracker into our internal systems so they can get triaged and prioritized out to the team to fix. I know at the very, very least, I make a point to go in there and grab the top 2 or 3 most important bugs from the tracker and get them entered into the system and on someone's plate every week. So at the very least, there's some movement there, and the biggest things are getting taken care of. If it's not on the tracker, it's our fault there's a bug in the first place, but it's partly your fault for not reporting it. So if you see it there, go ahead and throw it in. We'll do our best to get it fixed.
And again, this is all player run.
Yep.
Ticken, Zaus, and Lady Lightning are the 3 that I know specifically who help run and organize this bad boy. And all the time in the issue or in the TSI chat, which is basically for the test server initiative. I mean, Lady Lightning would come in there. It's like, hey, can a PS4? Can someone check out this bug? And a lot of times we just like, yeah, let's do that. So
yeah.
So
I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, this is actually where we found that fire issue that was telling us the incorrect buffs and debuffs. It was found on the issue. It was reported onto the issue tracker, and there were a lot. Like I know I looked at it when I was on the test server because I have a fire tune there, and we got that knocked out. So the issue tracker works. That's that.
And yeah, and Ticken is raging in the chat about explaining upvoting. I don't know how to, like, yeah, you go to each bug and you can vote for it. Like, this is important to me. Click up.
I guess I should log in to try.
Yeah, okay.
Go find every single fire bug, every bug for fire, and upvote it.
I mean, you can, and that'd be one vote, and then, everybody else would upvote the things that matter, and it wouldn't have much of an impact.
Okay, I forgot my password.
So, are you streaming yourself logging in, Trex?
They can't see they don't know my password. It's hidden. And I can't remember my password, so I can't do it.
So are you bringing up the website on the stream?
Yeah, it's on the stream.
Okay.
I just can't.
I wasn't watching.
I only actually... oh, no, I remember. I was logging in with my Daybreak stuff, not my other crap.
Yeah, so there's a reminder. This is a player-run website, so if you use your... account info that is Daybreak, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. This is not our system, so you're either going to fail at logging in like Trex is, or if you actually make the same password, now you're sharing passwords, and that's very bad. In life, on the internet, you should know that by now. Also, we just watched your password get logged in there, Trex.
You didn't visually see it. You saw my...
It was all
asterisks. I visually saw it.
I was more interested in commenting on the fact that he actually put 187 in his login name there. When 187, that's like the police code for like a murder.
I know what it is.
Rex does not kill anything but himself.
What?
Right.
And
Except for himself.
Brittany.
And the rest of the raid group that he's tanking for. So
hold on.
So some people are asking if it's secure. Like you don't have to put in any information about yourself at all into this website. It's entirely player run. There's no linking back to your account. It's just you need to make up a username and a password, and it can be specific to this. So it really doesn't matter at all.
Right.
Okay, show us how to upload.
You guys are so mad.
I've got a question. Smurf's wanting to ask you, Mepps, if the glitch that we brought to your attention that he found was put on the tracker or not. Smurf, I can pretty much vouch for everybody on the TSI. Nobody could reproduce what the crap you did.
You made me throw up, Smurf. You made me throw up. That was disgusting.
Your directions were crazy. I don't know how you figured that out, but that was some crazy ass crap you did.
So maybe you need to put that on the tracker.
Okay, so
well, that's the thing. Then the modders are going to try to reproduce it. If they can't, like we're stuck there. That's the tough part, right? Is we can't really fix it if we can't see it happen. So
I'm looking at this bug, the Area 51 layover not counting. So as we see the reproduction steps right here, log into a character that does not have the Area 51 hard mode layover speed. Okay, put a group together that's, man, they really went step by step on this. Look,
that's what we need.
Yeah, put a group together that is capable of beating Area 51 hard mode in 20 minutes or less. Complete the alert in 20 minutes or less. And then see whether the layover feat is awarded to the Area 51 mode. Tier 1 alert. The results, the layover speed feat will not be awarding for completing the Area 51 hard mode under 20 minutes. And so far it has 9 votes. So I'm going to vote for this issue. And I voted. That's it, Ticken. You just click a link. Why do we have to explain that?
Well, it is a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff there.
That it is.
The cool thing though is if you go back to the like that front page of the tracker, you can see it lists the bugs in different statuses, right? There's like reported. What is it? What are the different statuses there? I guess I should load it up on my screen here.
Yeah, confirmed, unconfirmed,
unconfirmed,
internal.
right? And then it's moved to confirmed when it's when a moderator is confirmed. And then the cool thing is you can see tracked internally. That means I went in. I think it's mostly me doing it and saying this has been entered into our database for sure. Like it's internal. We've got repro steps, and we're working on it at some point. And then you can see also the bugs that are getting resolved and closed, which thankfully right now there are more closed bugs than open bugs. Yay! Or it's nice that bar's higher. But that's kind of the process. So if you want your thing that you care about to get into the system, you can tell us about it everywhere, and especially like the big ones like launch day. Not all of those hit the tracker, but for the long-term lingering things. Like, gosh, this has been broken for 6 months. Will somebody please fix it? Put it in the tracker, upvote it, get your friends to upvote it, bribe Ticken to, put it on top, bring it to my attention, whatever, and then we'll get it fixed.
So I went and hit the create button to create an issue, so you guys can take a visual look at it as well, and you see that the issue type is a bug. Or you can go with improvement. I've never really seen improvement, but I've always just stuck with the bugs because that's what I'm reporting. So you create your summary. This is your title, so we know what you're talking about. You choose your platform, which is PC, PS4, or PS3. Security level, basically hit none. I've never really had to put for DGC issue moderators only. The priority, you can go with major, minor, trivial, like blocker. I don't know what that means. And now the components. The components is where you need to pay attention because you have to say whether if it's an audio, a base league, chat, crashes, environment, instance, items, like a whole slew of stuff here. And you can also, I believe you're able to put like multiple ones. So if it's like a base and league hall, which is also an instance, which is maybe environment. So I hope you could put like multiple categories to it. And then the infected versions. I had to know this because I did this stuff for test as well. Do you guys? I know we do it for live. How do you want the testers to do this as well, who are on the PC test?
Yeah, it's helpful for tests just because it's so much nicer to go to this screen to look at a bug than it is to go to a forum post. Just because of the way it sorts information. So if you are a tester on the test server, enter your bug in the issue tracker under test, and then go to the forum under whoever's official post. You know, we always do an official thread for each kind of major thing. Go in there and link that issue tracker link in there and say, hey, this is an issue under that official thread for the correct topic.
Yeah, so you'll choose either the live latest, which would be GU47. Then we have there's a hotfix, and then there's also the test latest, which is DLC 14 and Game Update 47, because test hasn't been updated yet, which is not my fault, Brittany. And then here for the environment, you're going to explain what your PC specs are. If you're PC, if you're PlayStation, you don't really, I guess, have to put it, or you can just leave it blank altogether. But if you're on PC, it helps. As a person who had to post bugs before, having PC information works out very well. Like what your operating system, how much RAM, your CPU, all that good stuff. Then the description. So in the description, you're going to describe what's happening. Then you go in your reproduction steps and reproduce them step by step as you're going to log into your character. You're going to hit Y on your keyboard. You're going to select Area 51, those kinds of steps. Make it step by step just for Mepps. So we understand what you're doing. And then what the results were when you did it. And then the repeatability, how often the reproduction starts, how much of those they actually trigger. And then you can even put attachments. In the Area 51, there are pictures there. You can also put videos from YouTube, which if you record everything you do, which is kind of not what you want to say in this day and age of, NSA people listening in. But, record everything you do in your game because it will always help out or hurt you. Either way, don't glitch everything. And then that's it. You can hit the create, and then it gets sent to the moderators. The moderators see it, and they'll move it forward, and if they deem it, if they're able to reproduce it. So that's how you create a bug. Or an issue in the issue tracker. Which the more I just looked through it, because there was also a rage issue that I was able to help with. So it was like I saw the reproduction, I'm like, I can do this. I'm like, oh wait, nope, I can't do what he's doing. That's a whole thing. I don't use that loadout. I don't know what he's doing. I can't do it. So the issue tracker does help the game out, and if you guys find a bug, issue track that sucker. Straight to it. So there you go, Chicken. You owe me a cupcake. Even though I really did it because I wanted to do it anyways because you were here. So, let's see. Is there any other questions in chat? Or anyone really wanted to ask anything? All right, so remember that Halls of Power Part 2 is coming out next week. We don't know a date yet, right?
We do not have the exact date.
Okay, it comes out next week. It's bringing you some granny goodness. Granny goodness.
You had to say it.
I had to. I did it for Spittle.
Tons of new content. Raids.
Can't wait.
I'm really excited for it too.
Open world.
Are you gonna be able to run it?
Brittany?
I mean, it's a legitimate question. Are you gonna
We asked this before at the beginning of the episode.
Well,
yes.
Did you answer?
Yes,
Oh.
I'm 112.
I think you answered.
I am 112. Even
I thought you said you were 111.
Stop. Oh my god. Before Game Update 47, I was at 111 overall, meaning that I could go into Halls of Power Part 2. I was perfectly fine with it. Then Game Update 47 happened. Boom! I'm 111 across the board. I can still go in. I ran Halls of Hades, and I got some new pieces of gear, and now I'm 112. Yay! I can go in. I need some ice for this burn, yes.
There are a couple of questions in chat related to powers and power balance and advanced mechanics and that kind of thing. And I just want to take the moment to say, one of the other really cool things we did in 47 was we added a combat parser. I don't think we talked about this today, did we?
We did not.
Briefly mentioned it, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the combat parser in the game tracks the combat log for you and can spit out how much DPS, how much damage you're doing over periods of time or for different fights. This is huge. This allows everybody to go into the game and do the same thing and get results that they can easily show us. You know, the scorecard has forever been just an awful tool of, you know, I'm better than this person because I have higher numbers on a scorecard, which doesn't take into account what you're doing or who you're doing it to or how much you're dying or what the rest of the group is. The combat parser does. So if you have a concern about your power set, do some combat parsing, log your results, post them on the forums, and we'll go from there.
And how would exactly, for some folks out there, how exactly would you go about setting up the combat parser for your chat and everything for the log?
Okay, so I mean, I would do two things. Make a new chat window in the regular chat settings, name it combat parser, and then there's a bunch of options at the bottom of the chat filter window where you can say, you know, send only this chat text into this window. So then you have a place to look at it and record it. Then to actually run the parser, it's through the quick menu. So you go to where you want to fight. I'm not sure sparring targets are the best right now because there's such high CR, but find a sparring target or find an NPC, and you can actually choose how you want to do it. Do you want to spit out your DPS after a certain period of time or after combat ends, and just do the same test over again? I don't think we know exactly what's best yet, so see what you think makes sense to you, and just describe what you did and post what you got, and other people will be able to say, hey, I did the same thing with this other power and I got this, and we can actually look at those results, you know, without the hyperbole, without the inflation, without the confusion, and say, there's an issue here, there isn't an issue here. So it's a huge tool for the community if they want to take it and use it. And we encourage you to. You know, a lot has changed with this update, so go ahead and take a closer look at what's different, where things have shaken out to, and use the tool we provided. We took a lot of time, I should say Dirt took a lot of time, to make this thing work and make it useful, and go forth and use it. That's what we're going to be using to consider balance changes in the future.
Yeah, and with the combat parser, you can look at your damage per second, and you can also look at your healing per second. As a electric healer, and well, I think I was in the duo, I did like 354 heals a second. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and it's actually now tracking shield damage absorbed by shields as well. So a lot of times kind of looking at the numbers is a little bit strange because this power doesn't have shields and does straight healing, where this power does have shields and doesn't, and they would have very vastly different numbers. And now those things are a little bit more even, where you can see where the damage goes. So another cool improvement.
Yeah, I did a video of the game update 47 patch notes. Did a stream for it, and went over just like some highlight stuff. It's like an hour, probably like an hour 20-minute video, but it has the combat parser in there as well. Where I went in, organized it, and actually you guys get to see it being used. So I'm not much of a DPS chaser, damage, whatever, but I do like the combat parser. So as a rage tank, I know how much healing I'm actually doing compared to the actual healers in the group. It's just nice information to look at. Question from McClone. With the UI on hold, is it possible to have a skill point allocation made more dynamic, so that starting over is not required if an error is made?
Please.
Actually,
Please.
yeah. So, I mean, not specifically that, but now that the whole new UI is on hold, there are kind of a lot of little things we were putting off to do with the whole new UI. So we may do some of those now until we figure out, what's going on there. So if you do have suggestions like that, yeah, let's get a list together. Let's get a post on the forums about, minor quality of life improvements to the UI. Things like being able to unspend skill points or spend skill points without redoing your whole tree, anything like that. We talked about the broker earlier, those would be things I'd like to have a list of to be able to pass the team when we get around to that.
If we could respec just like a tree, one weapon tree, that would be awesome. I would love that.
Or have a number that you can toggle with how many points you want to put into a node.
Yeah, little things like that.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, so game update 487 on the on live servers right now. Hope you guys do enjoy it. There are some bugs, there are some issues with bosses and mechanics and blah blah. But if you guys experience that, please head to the forums and also head to the issue tracker to report them. Head to the forums first and put them in the known issues and update thread that Mepps started up. I think someone started up. I can't remember. I think it was Dirio started up. I can't remember. But be sure to head to that thread so we can see what it is, get those looked at, and at the same time, it also gives players a chance to look at content as well, so they know what's going on, if it's actually an issue or if it's not. That's the whole thing. Will ICE get another update? I don't know. I don't play ICE. ICE has no reference to me. Sorry. Honestly, I'm not even sure if any other powers are getting updates, so to speak. Mepps?
What's the question?
He was asking if ICE will get another update.
Yeah, I mean, we are through adding advanced mechanics. There are no plans to go through and do the ice update or the earth update or whatever it is. It'll literally be just things here and there as they're brought to our attention and as we feel like we have time to act on them. So yeah, we're kind of through, at least for the moment, doing revamps or updates or anything like that. Just be changes here and there as needed.
And congratulations to Earth and Sorcery. You guys got your power back mechanic. Kudos.
We don't get power back.
Don't you? I thought that's what I read.
You get power regeneration.
Or whatever. Whatever. Your pets
Sagan's
are OP
whiny.
again. Fury and Crystal are OP once again. Congratulations, you pet users. Power regen. Whatever you call it.
Yeah, you don't really get ticks of power back.
See, this is why I don't play this. This is why I don't play those I don't even care. Earth, sorcery, whatever.
Our damage was increased. For sure.
Whatever, I'm sticking with rage. I'm gonna throw up on everything.
You.
Well, it's what I do. It's what I have to do. Also, coming down the pipeline, actually coming out next week. Is there an FNL next week?
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. We will be back next week, the 15th. We'll have T-Lantern on. We're going to be playing through new episode content from Halls of Power Part 2 in a Let's Play. We'll have Odyssey US on, who I need to apologize to because they signed up probably 2 years ago, and I kind of thought they were the same as Odyssey EU, and hey, actually, as it turns out, they're not. So
they share the same website. They share the same website, but they're two different regions.
Yeah. So we'll have them on. They've been waiting for a while.
And do they all still play the game?
They do. Yeah. Hard to believe, right?
Bob and Zaus are still here.
or did they get so jaded because you didn't have them on FNL? They're like, screw this, we're out. We quit.
You know, you joke, but I get a lot of like rage. Like after it's the people get on there, and then like 2 months later, like, you know what? We've been waiting for 2 months, and you're a jerk, and we hate you, and we're quitting the game. I'm like, well, this does not have the intended, you know.
Well, that happened.
Well, I mean, you get blamed a lot for things that happen on this game, which cracks me up because, you're basically like you're the messenger, and everybody's like, Mepps, you screwed up PvP. It's like I recently saw somebody just like go on like a 5-minute rant, blaming you for the way PvP is for changing it for people's for your friends. And I was like, wow.
They don't know what community manager means.
No, he's deaf. You know that?
Anyway, I mean, there's a fine line, For most of the changes that people really get upset about, I was in the room too, so you can be as angry at me as you want, But that said, FNL next week. Casual Let's Play. Going to do some prizes, probably if T-Lantern gets knocked out, that kind of thing. So tune in if you have questions, that kind of thing. And then after that, we're going to have a double PlayStation and PC Legends tournament set up for 2 weeks after that. Details forthcoming soon. But it should be the first tournament with crisp, awesome action combat in a while. So
one question I do get asked. One question I hate to ambush you like this. One question I do get asked a lot on the PlayStation side is when the next Arenas one is going to be at.
Yeah, that's a good question. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
Off the air. See what's going on there, because I'd like to do more if there's interest, for sure. Which has always been the problem. I mean, Brittany, you can speak to this about people ducking and being afraid of arena tournaments and stuff.
Oh,
dang!
Didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
Boom!
Unfortunately, combat changes. I don't know, like how long ago was that?
That was
like 2 days ago.
Let me look at the Skype conversation from last 1 second.
So yeah, Soups, if you can get some people interested to well represent the server and get a full tournament going, I think we can do some arenas as well.
Cool.
And we can talk formats and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of tournaments, because I told them I would, the Grand Shaw. I think he's still called the Grand Shaw. Nope, it's just Grand Shaw. Gotcha. Grand Shaw and Inquirer or the Inquirer. There's the. They're going to be holding a player-run Legends PvP tournament next week. Everyone's going to gather at 8 o'clock, and then the tournament starts at 8:30. Yes, that is in the middle of the DCUO SourceCast, but you don't really need to watch us. You just need to listen to us. So just have the stream onto the side on your second monitor. I'll be okay with it. Just listen to us. That's all you need. That's all you need to do. So they're going to be starting around next week on the 15th. The tournament starts at 8:30. If you're participating, it's going to be at you need to be there at 8 o'clock. And let me actually get the link to the challenge site. This is to celebrate Game Update 47's release and with the new combat changes, the combat responsiveness. So they also listed some rules there as well. So be sure to follow those rules. And if you're on US PC, be sure to sign on up. It should be a good time. I might have it open on my second computer just so I can see what's going on. But yeah, if you guys are doing it, go forward. Healer T, can we get some player host tournaments on the EUPS, please? You got to talk to your fellow players on that one.
Yeah, honestly, and this is something I've always hit Orbit up with when I was talking with him a lot when we had our own podcast going. Is it's player run. I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. They're player run tournaments over there. So it's up to those. It's up to the individual players over there to get together and put them together and run them like that. And so I did it like 3 times with Olympus here on the U.S. side, and it's something I've always I always dug Orbit a little bit about why don't you step up and do something like that, because he's one of the guys in the best position to do that. So yeah, go bug Orbit. Go bug Orbit about that.
Mepps also linked us the PC test server hotfix for today, which is not game update 48. Just saying. But it is some fixes. Not my fault. Stop it.
It has the new set bonuses for the new episode coming out. So
yeah,
that's
right.
worth taking a look.
All the way down. With the loot, updated the elite gear set bonuses. This includes increased stats when wearing 4 pieces and different passes for tanks and healers wearing 8 pieces. So, yeah. Also, love the color coordination that you have.
It's nice, right?
Yeah, it's nice. If we can get these for when game updates go live, that would be even spectacular.
There's no point when they go live, Trex, because it's all the game update. It would just all be green.
Well, you could... Okay, that's true.
I could just add random color, but the color has meaning.
Wait, can you tell us how much the stats have been increased on the...
I don't know offhand.
Oh, okay.
Gonna have to patch up.
I did patch up, but I don't have any of the gear, so...
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and there's
We can probably find that info.
And there's no way to ever get a raid done on test. It's just horrible.
Really?
With players.
Oh,
well, Trex, all right, in all the players' defense, okay, one, I think the first time you tried to put together a group was on Thursday night. It was on a Thursday night. You were trying to put together a raid group on test. Yeah. On reset day, you're trying to put together a raid group on test.
So? You shouldn't run. You should. Why stress yourself out and just ruin the entire week of playing the game when you could just run the raids throughout the week? You don't have to do everything on a Thursday.
Not everybody has one character though, Trex. I have 5.
And you're saying, you sat there and just said, why stress yourself out? Or if they're looking to not to get stressed out, why would they run it with you?
Oh.
At the same time, hold on. This is coming from a guy who has never ran a raid with me. Never ran away with me.
I've seen.
You can see all you want until you experience the fun that I bring to a raid.
Oh my
you just
God.
Don't know. Michael Grigg can.
Multiple wipes in a boss fight is not fun to me.
Michael just said it wasn't fun healing you.
Yeah. I also recall him saying he doesn't know you.
Look, if you ain't dying, you ain't doing it right. That's all I gotta say.
But
I'm human. I make mistakes, but I tell you what, when you walk away from a Trex raid, you had fun.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours of entertainment.
Yeah,
it is. Because people on Twitch, they're sick. They want me to die. If I'm not streaming, I don't die that often. But I die for the fans. I die for the views.
That's your excuse.
That's not even an excuse. That's real. These people are sick. You've been on these streams. They just want me to die. They blow up when I Trex rage. Or when I Trex crash.
You to. That's why. It's not that they want you to. They're expecting you to. They're like, wow, Trex hasn't crashed yet. It's been 2 minutes.
And then I crash for them. It's a shout out to them that I care. Mm-hmm. I care about them.
Mm-hmm.
You're so nice, Trex.
I am.
So
Thank
thoughtful.
you. Thank you. That's the point. But when I'm not streaming, I don't crash too often. I still crash because CC, whatever, things happen, blah. But you get over it. I'm also not one of those players who, when I die, I leave immediately. It's like, oh, we didn't have a perfect run. I'm out. Like, oh God, those people piss me off. Those people just sickening to me. It's like, oh, we didn't have a run because we had a wipe. Oh, you gotta go cry in your corner in your base. That's so sad. So sad. But I love tanking. I love being that guy. I also like controlling too. Controlling's a lot of fun.
Isn't it?
It is. I just like it. I just do. But it is so remember PvP tournament next week. We have FNL next week as well. With a Let's Play for Halls of Power Part 2 content. Halls of Power 2 does come out next week as well, and I might have not ran those raids, but those alerts, those are some fun alerts. And
it's out next week for members, I should say. It's on sale the week after that.
Ooh.
Early
So
access.
be a member.
Pays to be a member.
Oh wait, what?
It's for
Are we
members.
actually getting early access for the?
Members early access next week. Yep.
Oh, I thought we weren't getting early access.
It might not be something that they can do for the monthly releases, maybe. But even I wasn't expecting an early release or a members release for this deal, for this episode, which is cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Sweet.
All right. And so, as usual, it's time for the shameless plug. So, be sure to find us over on social media. Just type in DCUO SourceCast on Facebook or the Twitter, and you'll find us. Or just type in SourceCast. You'll still find us there. You can find all the SourceCast episodes in video form over at Trexlight or at YouTube.com/Trexlight in the SourceCast playlist. You can also find some of the episodes over at Super Patriots channel, which you'll divulge in a moment. All the audio episodes are on iTunes. Just type in DCUO SourceCast and you'll find us, or you can go over to Trexlight.com and download them all there. If you guys have any questions or want us to talk about something, please email us at DCUOSourcecast@gmail.com. We take all requests. Well, not all of them, but we'll read them at least. Or at least I will. Soups, where can we find you?
You can, of course, find me at youtube.com/thedaddy'shouse. I'm also on facebook.com/thedaddy'shouse, Twitter at thedaddy'shouse, and occasionally streaming here in a couple, like about a dozen pixels, here on Twitch at twitch.tv/thedaddy'shouse. Vagrant, where can we find you at?
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get all of this off without going robotic.
You're fine right now.
Alright, well, you can find me at Facebook/VagrantGame, YouTube/The Alpha Tester, Twitter/Vagrant_Gaming, Twitch/VagrantGaming, even though most of those stuff has been dead for a couple months now. Anyway, Trex, where can we find you?
You can find me at facebook.com/Trexlight. You can also find me on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Trexlight. And you can find me especially on the Twitter at ThisIsTrex. And be sure to hit that follow button on the Twitch channel to know when I go live every day, every week, sometimes every day, just depends. Mepps, where can we find you, sir?
You can find DCO at DCO and on Facebook at /DCersOnline, DCersOnline.com, all the good spots. And you can find me at alwaysMepps on Twitter sometimes, if you're nice to me.
You still haven't replied to my direct message, by the way.
Really? That's because I don't care. Why are you messaging me on Twitter? You have like 6 other forms of instant messaging available to you.
Because I was at a small show. I was at Free Comic Book Day at my comic book store, and I was like, oh, well, I'll just hit him up on Twitter since I don't have a way to get on Skype.
That was your first mistake.
Trex says, what shirt size does Jens wear? Really? This is what I had to log into Twitter.
Well, it doesn't matter now because I already got the shirt, but... but
You don't have
Are you pretending
Skype on
you're
your
Jens?
phone?
Like, what's going on?
Isn't Jens' size like Yeti or something like that? He's a pretty tall guy. He's a pretty tall guy.
That's why I was like, I didn't know what the shirt size was, so I went and got like
Did you get him a baby tee?
I didn't give him a baby...
I really hope that he wears it and takes a picture of himself in it.
Oh my god!
Because I feel like you got like 2 sizes too small. So I really hope that he wears it and takes a picture of it.
Showing off his midriff for it.
I got a double XL, so I was like, he looks like a double XL, and if anything, it'll be too big for him, so he can still wear it, so it'll still somehow fit. So, yeah, I'm actually wearing. If you guys saw my stream last night, I was wearing the Green Arrow T-shirt my buddy made, And I'm now wearing a Flash t-shirt, which, now I'm not going to show you. Oh, I guess I could turn on my camera and show you guys. But I was at the show, and I bought these, and there was this Aquaman shirt done in the same fashion. So I was like, Aquaman. And it was like beautifully done. So I went ahead and was like, you know what? I'm just going to get this for Yins. That'll be nice. That'll be a nice thing to do. And, you know, and now after current things that have happened, it's like, you know what? Now I'm going to butter him up. Now I'm going to suck up to get this thing. Now I'm using it as a bribe now. All right, so thank you all so much for tuning in tonight, and be sure to stick around for the giveaway. And I guess during the giveaway, I'll talk about Age of Ultron, so it's not really on the podcast. Because
you want to stick around and talk about it too, Mepps?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think I would.
This podcast isn't big enough for 2 robots.
Smooth. Also, I just have to give a shout out to this. DC Comics has got Convergence going on right now. Go to your local comic book store. Pick up the side books if you want to, but the main story, the main books, it's only going to be 8 issues. It's an 8-issue miniseries. Pick it up. It's actually a really, really good read.
Get the Oracle and Nightwing one.
I've heard good things. I got the Speed Force for Flash, which Wally West and his kids, oh man, that took me back. Okay, so yes, Gotham got a season 2. Congratulations, Gotham. Constantine did not get a season 2. It got canceled. I'm so mad. So frustrated.
It did?
It got canceled. It got canceled today.
Oh man.
No, we can keep Gotham. How horrible a effing show it is, but we lose a good. Oh, damn it, NBC.
Horrible.
Gotham
Horrible.
sucks.
What?
Gotham sucks.
You don't
It
like that
sucks.
show?
It sucks. It sucks. Horrible show. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. We tune in next week, same time.
That could be on the podcast, but you know,
I'm sorry.
Gotham does suck.
Oh God. Every time I hear the word, it just I rage.
It keeps piggybacking off the fact that it's based on Batman, and it's not based on the main dang character. Who was Gordon?
I have to put my red ring on. I feel the rage. I have to calm down.
There's a lot of hate right here in this general area.
There's a lot of rage. It's just a lot of rage. I'm trying to channel it out.
Don't go rage yet. Let's just close up shop.
All right, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Once again, thank you so much to Mepps for joining in tonight. Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
All right, and with that, we'll see you guys next week. Stick around for the giveaway for PlayStation Cash. All right, good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.